imagine if my tiny little self, just gets planted in front of ooh. Never mind. Hey Munchies, it's the Gamer Untamed, and today is Valentine's Day. Isn't this a nice rose? Would you like it? Here you go. Let's all celebrate Valentine's Day together. Moving on, because of the fact that I don't have enough time to play a whole video game at the moment, I figured that I would go back to, like 3 years ago before I kind of quit YouTube for a little while and do a thing that I used to do about video game universes. This idea comes from GamerMD83, so she completely owns this idea, but the concept is that I'll be talking about 3 things, and those are that, so I'll have a topic, as in which gaming universe. That's pretty self-explanatory. And the first section of this video will be about what would happen if I, as myself, in this moment, were transported into that universe. The second would be if I, as myself, was born in that universe. And the third would be if I could choose who I was in this universe. It's kind of an interesting topic to discuss with you guys, get your feedback on it, and have this as sort of an open chat. Blah blah blah. So, this first episode is going to be about Assassin's Creed, but specifically Assassin's Creed Syndicate. For anyone who didn't know, Assassin's Creed Syndicate is set in the Industrial Revolution, specifically in Great Britain, and it has a lot of characters of real life characters such as Charles Dickens and Queen Victoria and a whole bunch of other people that I forget their names of. Charles Darwin's another one. They all basically have the same name. So that is the setting if you didn't know, and I personally love the concept of the industrial era in England. I think it's a fascinating time. I mean, you've got the complete comparison between like the urban workers and the very, very upper class of society. So you've got like the aristocracy and the low of the low, which sounds quite terrible, but you've got this really weird imbalance of powers, and I think the entire concept is super cool. So let's get on with the first part of this discussion. So while I do love the industrial period, I think it would be a completely unrealistic realm for someone like myself to be just thrown into randomly. I mean, it's a completely shitty environment in the fact you've got very poor conditions for workers, very just unsustainable environments. It's very unsanitary, and you've got basically everyone else aside from the upper class and the affluent and the prosperous are living in a shithole. There's just poop and grime and factories, and women are kind of forced into prostitution or to marry at a young age. You've got kids wandering around, all these orphans, so you really don't want to be just propelled into this environment. I mean, I have literally no trade. I could not do anything aside from marry or prostitute myself, because women are second to men in this kind of environment. I could not even work in a laundry factory because of my incompetence. I'm really quite hopeless, and I definitely couldn't be a writer because of the fact that women kind of didn't do well. I mean, I could obviously write under a pseudonym, but I have to survive somehow. I can't just live off the street. I think it would be really quite funny to see myself just as me in this world, because of the fact that I'm usually in just pajamas, and I just end up probably in the middle of a street with carriages running past me, and everyone like, what the frick is wrong with this person? What the hell is she wearing? What is that what is that mobile telecommunication device? It would be quite amusing. I'd probably just want to hunt down Charles Dickens, tell him my story, so he could write a book about me, and then I'd get some royalties. That would probably be my plan, because I would have no other plan. I've never been to England, I don't really know the streets. I don't even know the streets when I'm playing the video game, so it would be a pretty hard life for me. Bad pun. So in the second scenario, I would basically be myself, as I am, in this reality that for me would actually be real. So being in the industrial era of England would be my own reality. What would I be like? If it was me personally, I'd probably wouldn't be living in the slums. I would have probably more likely to have a nice house, middle class family, living in London. We're not even going to touch, what's it called, Whitechapel. Sorry, that's not where I'd be. I'd probably be quite sheltered in a family. I'd have more opportunities than other girls. Probably be married off into some family or whatever that has money. Thinking in that kind of space is different. I don't know how I would be so different. I think I'd be very much the same. I'd like to write. I'd probably have a huge library that I can totally imagine, just walls of books everywhere. And there'd be like a door that is a bookshelf. And that'd be really cool. I should do that in the future. I would probably end up with myself. I'd probably end up being like a housewife, which would suck and I wouldn't like it very much. So I'd be a very defiant housewife. I don't even like talking about it. It's not my thing. I'd probably write a lot. Did they have typewriters back then? Not actually quite sure. I think so. Ooh, I'm just going to go with it did. I'll check it, but you're not going to know. So either I'd be writing, in some form or another, I'd be writing. Probably can imagine myself just sitting at a dining table, sitting in a study, ignoring my children, writing a whole bunch of stuff, reading the newspaper, and drinking some green tea. That's what I would be doing with my entire life until I died. Well, I mean, you get limited opportunities, I suppose, and I would not, as myself, be prepared to step out into the slums and get pickpocketed and raped. That's not my kind of thing. I mean... And lastly, scenario 3 involves choosing to be in this universe. So you know about it and you're physically choosing to enter this universe as whoever you want to be. So letting my imagination run wild, as one should say, I would probably be your stereotypical bad person. I would want to be a very terrible human being. That sounds really awful, actually. But because it's not real, we're going to go with it because I think it's really awesome to just play a bad character. Not bad as in it's really like awful character, but like an evil character. I sound really bad as a person. Anyway, I would probably be a very uptight, because of my corset, I would be very uptight, straight-laced, and just a very nasty woman. Probably living in Whitechapel or the Strand, maybe. I think it'd be interesting to work in that asylum, you know, the asylum storyline in Assassin's Creed Syndicate where you kind of walk in, you have to kill some people. I think working around, not publishing, what's it called? Manufacturing, that's the one. Manufacturing almost poison would be really interesting, and just selling it as medicine. That's really cool to me. I don't know. That one character is kind of like an occult woman. I really like her character. I think she's quite fascinating. So I'd like to be basically her, except be manufacturing awful poisons and telling people, oh, that's medicine, it'll make you better, and then bye. See ya, you're dead now. So that's essentially it. I hope you enjoyed this kind of interactive discussion about video game universes. I hope to do another one soon. Hopefully next week you'll get a review from me, but I'm not entirely sure. I have to think of something because I've got to keep you guys entertained, and I don't even know if I entertain myself, so we've got to try something. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Leave your comments down below about what you thought, or if you'd like to respond with your own scenarios, that would be awesome. Share this video if you like. Subscribe if you haven't already. There is a button in one of these corners. Is that it? Is that all the things that I say? I think so. So until next week, I will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful time. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. Oh, have a rose again. Just have a sniff. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.